Hello and welcome to Masterminds by Success Alchemists, where we speak with business leaders who share practical lessons on scaling up, building strong teams, and creating lasting success. Today, we have Mukesh as our guest. Mukesh Kulothia is a Bachelor of Technology from MNIT Jaipur and an MBA from IIM Lucknow. A journey from a small village boy to two of India's top institutions, all sparked by the power of a single recognition. He spent 9 years at IBM collecting passport stamps faster than appraisal letters, traveling to 12 countries, and learning firsthand how businesses and people transform when recognition is done right. After a late night chat about entrepreneurship with Siddharth Balasaria, he did the unthinkable. He designed the very next morning to build Muskurado.com, which now ships rewards and recognition products to more than 99 countries. As a Toastmasters member, he was honored with the highest communication and leadership award, DTM, twice. And as a district director, he broke world records in this 102-year-old global organization, proving again that extraordinary results follow when people feel truly valued. His company is more than a vendor to his clients. They enjoy being catalysts in making success bigger and repeatable through various recognition and appreciation initiatives. Welcome, Mr. Mukesh. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being our
Thank
guest
you.
today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for the invitation and having me here.
Thank you, Mukesh. So, Mukesh, you spent 9 years at IBM before founding Muskurado. What was the
Right.
moment you realized that rewards and recognition was the problem that you wanted to solve for the world?
Thank you for that question. It's a brilliant beginning. I spent 9 years in IBM, and the realization of beginning my entrepreneurship journey in rewards and recognition didn't really come from IBM. It came from my experience at Toastmasters. I used to be from a small town in Rajasthan, and I didn't even know how to speak in Hindi till class 10th. Then when I was doing engineering, I was also trying to learn Hindi and a little bit of English. By end of engineering, I was good at Hindi, but not good at English. So I struggled to communicate in English even during my MBA and in the initial first years of IBM's journey. So there I came across this platform called Toastmasters, and I joined Toastmasters to improve my own communication skills. Initially, in first 4 years, I grew very rapidly in Toastmasters from being a member to club president to area director to division director, then program quality director and district director for North and East India. Now, when I was PQD and district director, I experimented with the power of recognition a lot. And thankfully, I had some very bad experiences with the recognition, or you can call them trophies, vendors, and suppliers in Gurgaon and Delhi. And I thought these awards are given to the top people, creme de la creme, the best of the best people get the awards. And the people who make these awards are so less qualified to actually make these awards. They do not understand the power of brands. They don't understand the impact of visuals. They don't really follow brand guidelines. And they are just selling the trophies as trading any other commodity. So not really giving the personal attention which is needed, whereas this is extremely important. So I thought I must begin my entrepreneurship journey with this particular field called recognition. And since then, I think 2017, I realized this. And then Muskurado was born. And it's been 8.5 years and I'm enjoying the journey.
How life shapes us from a village boy to Toastmasters, and then one incident or some observation, how it sparked something different in you, and Muskurado was born. Beautiful. Mukesh, what exactly is recognition and how is it different from appreciation? I believe this is a very important demarcation that we want to have in our minds. And I see a lot of leaders also struggling with this.
See, appreciation is more emotional. It is one to one mostly, and you appreciate the effort. Whereas recognition is social and it is one to many. You actually recognize somebody in public. Recognition means you actually made a difference. Whereas appreciation means that your efforts are in the right direction. Appreciation has to be an everyday culture. Whereas recognition need not be that frequent. For example, you can do a weekly recognition, monthly recognition. In fact, in Indian companies, people follow annual recognition, which in my opinion is not a good idea. But just think about uh, a scenario where you say thank you once in a year and you say great job once in a year. So that won't really work. In fact, there is a concept called BIRA, and I call it BIRA magic. So that covers four pillars of recognition. The first one is bonus, incentive, recognition, and appreciation. And I tell people that bonus and incentive are transactional, whereas recognition and appreciation are strategic moves, relationship building moves. And recognition, in nutshell, is something which proves somebody's worth socially. For example, you give someone a trophy for delivering something or showing some particular behavior. Whereas you appreciate somebody's little effort, the person feels good, feels uplifted, and he or she thinks like giving more to the organization. That so in nutshell, recognition is social, whereas appreciation is emotional. Recognition is generally given after you see some results or outcomes or behavior, whereas in appreciation you recognize or appreciate small efforts of somebody.
Wonderful. So recognition is social, it is rewarding the outcome. And appreciation is where it's like day to day when you are appreciating the effort. Why do leaders underestimate appreciation and recognition so much? In India, especially if I see, we do struggle with that. Or the bar is so high, or the expectations are so high that only when it will happen, then only we'll appreciate. What are your thoughts about it?
See, there are a couple of reasons behind companies underestimating the power of recognition or appreciation, and especially in particular for Indian companies. And the first reason is, I'm sure you might have read that matrix, which is urgency and importance matrix, 2 by 2 matrix.
Right.
There are
Yes.
things like meditation, things like reading, things like networking, things like exercising every single day. These things are extremely important, but not urgent at all. Even if I miss an exercise, maybe for a day or even for a week or a month, nothing, big will happen. So recognition falls in the exactly same quadrant. It's like reading, like exercising, like meditating. It's like thinking or building strategy for the company's long-term success. So it is important, but not urgent, and hence people tend to miss it. That's number one reason. Number two, especially in Indian culture, is I always feel that Indian management system is an extension of Indian parenting system. So in Indian parenting, generally, what do? We generally focus on what is not there instead of focusing on what is there. For example, let's say my son scores 90% in some exam. Where does my focus goes? I say, many congratulations, you did a great job. I spent around, let's say, 10-15 seconds in congratulating and appreciating his efforts or recognizing his achievement. And then rest, maybe an hour or two will go on, where did the 10% go? And the third reason I feel is the leaders, particularly the leaders, I'm saying, not the HR people, the leaders, they do not really understand how feeling appreciated appreciates the performance and how feeling recognized actually improves the contribution of somebody. They don't know how it can make people feel and fly.
So true. And that's the irony that as leaders, we also have been there and is still there. If our leader will appreciate it, our manager will appreciate, we understand how we feel seen, we feel valued. But still giving it is so difficult because of the conditioning and because of just focus on the urgent stuff and not the important stuff.
Absolutely.
Very
You
true.
summarized it so well.
So do you leaders be putting in a conscious effort how we can shift this mindset of okay when the outcomes will come big will happen then only appreciating versus small things. But what's your recommendation for the leaders?
Once again, I'm loving the quality of questions you are asking. Thank you so much for this one as well. I've been thinking about it, that how can leaders develop this habit? And leaders will have to do it. It's not actually a job of HR people as much as it is of the leaders. They know that where do they need to link the initiatives or the particular recognition or appreciation efforts exactly to the business, because not linking is another common mistake. HR people will not be able to link because they do not really know exactly the priorities of the business. They do it as an initiative and they do it in a generic manner and do it for all people. But uh, the leaders can actually link it to the strategy of the business, the priorities of the business, and they will do it specifically for the people who are important on that particular project and doing some great work. So coming back to your original question, how can leaders develop this habit of appreciation and recognition? Made us so much of pressure of a lot of deliverables on every single day, so many meetings and all. See, first of
Correct.
all, they need to understand the importance of recognition and appreciation. They need to believe that it is important. Also, they need to take the ownership. Though the HR will enable it, but the ownership lies with the leaders. Wherever leaders take the ownership, they actually move mountains. An example comes from an American company. It's called Campbell Soup. Campbell Soup was not doing good when a CEO joined this company, and he wanted to do some recognition and appreciation, but the CFO said that they don't have a budget. Now, what did the CEO do? He actually started writing handwritten letters, notes to the people who were doing great job. He noticed people doing great job and wrote a letter specifically mentioning the contribution. And during his tenure of 10 years, he handed over the letters to 30,000 people. So that means 3,000 letters a year, which means approximately 10 letters a day he wrote. So that's another example where even by writing handwritten letters, you can transform the culture if you start appreciating people and if you make them feel that they're being noticed. A framework which Indian people or leaders can follow to develop this habit is, I call it 3N, or you say it NNN. So first N means you need to notice them doing great job. Second N means you need to name it. That means you need to be specific. You can't really say that, Rahul is amazing. You need to say that yesterday, the way Rahul handled an agitated client, an angry client, was really impressive. He was so cool, calm. He listened to the customer and ultimately he resolved the problem in the favor of the customer. I'm really impressed, and I feel all of us, including myself, we need to learn this skill from Rahul. Great job done, Rahul. Kudos to you. So this is the specific way of naming the behavior, which skill or the contribution of the person. And third thing is nurture. So we need to notice it, name it, and nurture it. So nurturing means you are doing it again and again repeatedly. So if you do it repeatedly again and again, it becomes the culture.
Great. The CEO wrote handwritten letters on their own. That's so beautiful. I believe as an employee, that can be a most beautiful gift to get a personalized letter from your
Absolutely.
CEO. And culture also, this also emphasizes somewhere that culture is top down driven. The leaders at the top, what are the initiatives? What are the examples that they are setting across the organization? And that's something which can inspire each leader in the organization to do the same, to follow the same steps.
That's how it happens. Absolutely.
So, what is the biggest misconception companies have about employee motivation?
I would laugh at the biggest misconception in my mind is leaders think that we are paying money to them. Why do we need to recognize? Money is enough. But they don't realize that economical needs, emotional needs, social needs, these are all different needs. So the money, no matter how much you pay to them, will actually not be sufficient to uplift them socially and emotionally. For example, you have a beautiful plant, let's say in your room or at home in a pot. So what do you need to make that plant healthy and blooming? You need to give
Water,
it water.
sunlight,
Absolutely, absolutely. You are naming those right. So
manure.
if I misunderstand that water is enough, most of the times, let me tell you, water is the only reason of the early death of plants. You can't really give it water and some more water and maybe some more water every single day. You give it water 3 times. So that won't really be sufficient. It needs sunlight. It needs nutrition in the soil. Soil has to be rich in nutrients. So when we talk about in corporate culture, the nutrients are joy, recognition, appreciation, happy feedback, teams which laugh together, stay together, contribution in each other's goals. So these elements make any corporate culture a great culture, and these are just like soil of the plant. So instead of working only on giving more and more water, we should work on giving some sunlight and enriching the quality of the soil for the plant. Similarly, in corporate, instead of giving more and more money, of course we need to pay them well. Underpaying is not a good idea from anybody's perspective. We need to pay them well, but On top of it, we also need to recognize and we need to appreciate their effort. We need to make them feel noticed. Yeah.
I'm loving the analogy that you're giving. Nurturing a plant is same as nurturing an employee. And how
Yes.
only water or money is not enough. More water can lead to even spoiling the plant altogether. Wonderful. From my experience, also, if I see places where I've been appreciated, where I've been
Mm.
recognized for my effort, not like I'm not doing it and I'm expecting appreciation or recognition, but if I'm doing and I'm being recognized, I have never been wanted to leave those companies. I always wanted to hang in there, wanted to give my best foot forward. And that brings to me to my next question also. Do you have any stories where you saw and that recognition actually improved the business numbers also, and it's just not a HR theory?
See, business is result of what? I think in nowadays, especially the business is result of collaboration,
Mm.
innovation, ownership, and consistency of the performance by the people. Now, innovation, collaboration, ownership, and consistency of the performance by the people is not merely a theory. These are behaviors, or these are the trends or culture of a company where people, if they display it again and again and again, then the company grows and business numbers follow. Yes or no? Yeah.
True, true.
And if any leader is understanding it as if these are only theories, for example, he says collaboration is only a theory, he says innovation is only a theory, then I think the leader is not the right leader, in my opinion. They need to understand that these are nowadays no more soft skills but hard skills, which actually push or propel the companies forward. I don't really have exact numbers to prove it right now from outside environment, but I'll tell you one story which will tell you some numbers as well. When I became district director, my district was not doing good in Toastmasters, and it was not even a distinguished district. Just to tell you from just a context, there were almost 100 districts, and out of those 100 districts, approximately 70 districts were distinguished that year, and my district was not among those 70 districts. But in
Right.
next 2 years, we shattered every single misconception about the performance. And just to tell you some context, percentage growth in number of clubs globally was 1.6%, 1.7%, whereas in my case, it was more than 60%. The percentage growth in terms of number of membership payments globally was 2%, whereas in my case, it was again more than 60%. The success of existing clubs globally, it was approximately 50%. So that means out of 16,138 clubs, approximately half became distinguished. But in my case, the percentage was 126%. And even today, people come to me and ask, how did you go beyond 100%? So the magic here were two, in fact, not one, two magics. First was the power of recognition and appreciation. Every single contribution, no matter how minute or how small it is, will be appreciated. And that appreciation, more in most cases, spark more bigger appreciations and more contributions from the team and better performance. My personal SLA was 24 hours. So let's say if you are a member and you achieve something, you do something, you contribute in the success of the district, within 24 hours, the award will be dispatched, no matter how small it is. Because I feel that in India, people focus a lot on what to give. They give coupons, they give gifts, they give trophies, they give some experiences as well. That, but they do not really focus on how to give and when to give. These are the biggest two areas of improvement. They delayed at times. For example, they delayed by a month or two. And second thing was power of stories. So wherever I went to, any meetings, any gatherings, even if I spoke one to one to people, I tried to tell a small story of 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and made a point. So people understand through the stories clearly, and they try to follow the learnings of the story in their life or maybe in their day-to-day work. So the power of stories and power of recognition is massive, and it's not merely a theory. It is definitely hardcore strategic differentiation for the corporates, for the companies. Yeah.
Great insights, Mukesh. And my takeaway from this, what you just mentioned, one is be aware because it needs a level of awareness to even notice the effort.
Yes.
Then, second thing, what struck me was the personal SLA part. As a leader, if one has a personal SLA, that, hey, it's my KPI or my SLA to recognize within 24 hours of anything good which is happening within the organization. Can and imagine the cascading effect it can have. Imagine the level of motivation, the drive that people will have in that organization. And the and the storytelling part. Stories always stay with us. We understand now that R&R is important. And most companies, if we see, Mukesh, they have some form of R&R. But why do so many of them fail to move the needle on culture or performance?
Many reasons, not one, two, three, but many reasons. And those are very big, stark differences. The first difference in global MNCs and Indian companies is philosophical difference. See, the rewards and recognition, or I call it recognition and appreciation, should be initiated and followed through to improve the culture, not to improve one-time numbers. So when you talk about culture, it has to be something which breathes in and breathes out every single day in the office. Whereas in India, we do it occasionally. We do it on some particular moments. For example, in India, the rewards are tied to festivals. We also give people something on annual day or the foundation day of the company. That is not sufficient. With annual recognition, you cannot really build a daily culture. So that one difference, you can say philosophical or structural difference. Then there is a difference of ownership. For example, in European countries or Western countries, I gave you an example of Campbell Soup, the FMCG company. So there the ownership is taken by the top leadership. Whereas in India, we still feel that if I'm the founder, I'll hire an HR person or maybe two people in the team of HR and they will take care of everything. So the ownership must be taken by the leaders if you actually want to impact the culture of the organization. As we covered earlier, that leaders know the strategic priorities of the company and they can quickly link things. Now, linking is another area people make a mistake. I need to link it with the core values of the company. And I cannot really keep it isolated. I worked with IBM for 9 years and I saw that every single week or every single month, there were so many activities which used to happen around the core values of IBM. So if you want to make it a culture moving thing, then you need to make it frequent. You need to make it organization wide thing, and it has to be around the core values and business priorities. Also, I feel the emotional component is missing. Rewards is you give things to people. Recognition is you tell stories about those things being given to people. Stories are the emotional things and they bind people together. And when we tell these stories as a leader, we need to make sure that we do not really praise only the hero, because in a good movie, if there is no villain and no other supporting characters, then the movie will not come out really a super hit movie. So we need to make sure that whenever we tell story about somebody's contribution, we also bring out some support characters. They also feel that we are also being noticed and we are being appreciated and recognized for whatever we are doing. And leadership sees everyone and the performance is being taken care of for all the people. And the last one is really important, which is storytelling. And I generally say that we need to make a story bank as leaders. And in those stories, we need to write small stories, our own stories. Every single day, a lot of things are happening in the office. And when somebody does an extraordinary thing, I must write it down. And whenever I have town hall meetings, I have quarterly reviews, monthly reviews, even weekly meetings, I start the meetings with those, at least one story from that story bank. And that story is about the people.
Wonderful. All the points that you have brought up are so pertinent. Rewards and recognition has to be consistent. In fact, reward,
Went.
recognition, and appreciation. So now I'm understanding the differentiation between these all three. So recognition is all about storytelling, how you make them feel seen. Reward is the reward or the trophy you are giving them.
What is the thing?
The thing, yeah. And the appreciation is the day-to-day effort that you are appreciating. And it cannot be annual, it has to be frequent and consistent. It has to be top-down driven and maintain a story bank.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. So many takeaways for me, Mukesh. Thank you so much for this. What should be the few things that can be taken care of to design an effective program that really makes people valued and seen?
Sure, sure. Asima, again, a wonderful question. See, first of all, the response is very subjective. It depends on the what kind of organization we have. Let's say there are companies nowadays where the people are all working remotely from their home. There are companies where only the blue collar shop floor people work. There are companies where they only have the white collar people. But there are old companies, new companies, small companies, big companies. So a lot of things need to be taken care of. But there are some rules which are universal and can be taken care of when designing or crafting a good rewards and recognition program for companies. And the first point from my side is we need to increase the frequency of recognition. Instead of making it annual, make it monthly. And the second thing is, do not really be attached to perfection. Begin it wherever, whatever way you can, maybe no matter how, let's say, improper or small it is, just begin it and then slowly improvise it. Get feedback from people, what is working, what is not working, and then keep improving it. And the third thing is, delay is fatalistic. People say that delayed is just as denied. I say that recognition delayed is recognition denied. There are studies which prove that if you delay recognition by, let's say, a week, the impact remains only 50%. If you delay it by 1 month, 90% impact is gone, only 10% is left. Because by that time, people would have forgotten the moment. The moment is gone. And the final thing which I want to say is the leaders need to take it beyond themselves. Of course, they need to own it. So we need to bring it down to the level of every single person in the company. They need to start appreciating their colleagues and their peers. In fact, there is a research by HP, Hewlett Packard. In that research, they asked questions to 23,000 people across 44 countries. And as per that survey, they found out that 89% of millennials and 93% of Gen Zs would happily accept a salary cut if it results in a better relationship with their work and workplace. So earlier, people used to quit companies. Then the time came where people started quitting bosses, the managers. But now we have reached at a time where people do not really quit company and the managers only. They also quit their peers, their colleagues.
We spend like around 10 to 12 hours at work with the people, with our teams. If we don't feel included there, how much of a stress it can be on the system? You just trying to too hard to gel into a place where we feel we don't belong to. Any other meaningful difference that you see in how Indian companies versus global MNCs approach rewards and recognition? And what can they learn from each other?
I think we touched upon it a bit. I'll tell you, in global companies, the day-to-day recognition and appreciation is linked to the core values. They talk a lot about the core values. Whereas in Indian, especially MSMEs, most of those do not even have identified core values. So I think one thing, if they want to do it by listening to this podcast, the founders especially, they must recognize their core values and they must clarify the meaning of those core values. Maybe they need to write it down and give it to people, and they need to have some meetings and explain. And then every single week, they force themselves to identify people who are displaying these core values in their behavior, in their work, and recognize those people. So that ways, if you link the recognition and appreciation to core values, we are on the path to become those global MNCs. If we do not link it to the core values, then the recognition remains transactional, and anything which is transactional will not really be lasting.
So you have talked about rewards getting linked to strategic priorities and core values. I am totally with you on the point that in India we have a lot of companies who have not even their core values identified. When we work with businesses, core values is an important aspect that we also dive into. And either they don't have core values, or if they have core values, they have just one poster somewhere
Yeah,
in the office.
that's it.
But how that is translating into the day-to-day action, what are the behaviors that are rewarded versus reprimanded for in terms of core values? It's nowhere. And we work closely with them to define those behaviors and even define how you want to build a rewards or recognition system around the core values, like have a core value champion for each core value, or send constant stories and mailers to the employees, sensitizing them about what behavior will depict or fall in which core value. So Mukesh, now we all understand reward and recognition is important, how it is varying in India versus in global MNCs. Now post COVID, the hybrid or the remote work culture is also on a rise. It's like many companies, many employees, they work in a remote environment. How do we make recognition feel genuine in a remote or a hybrid kind of a setup? Because that's another challenge I see that leaders face in recognizing remote talent, even how to go about assessing and then rewarding and making feel genuine and not really performative.
It's a big challenge. It's a true challenge. It's practical challenge. Because in face-to-face setup, when you meet with every single staff member and fellow employees or maybe the subordinates peers, you can smile when you see them. You can do a handshake. You can say good morning. You can say goodbye. And these things truly matter. You see each other by looking at the face, you can make out that the person is changed or not well or whatever. You care for them more. But in remote setup where you do not see the faces of each other for many weeks or at times months, unless you decide for some Zoom call or some meeting on video. So how to take care of their appreciation part in this kind of setup? That's a big challenge nowadays. So I'll tell you a couple of points. One is, first of all, we need to force ourselves initially to notice something great or something, let's say, bad. If somebody is not well, no matter how much we set the expectations right, how much do we want, and how much recognition we have on stake, or how much bonus or incentives we give. So we need to, first of all, adapt to noticing the moods of the people. And as per that, we need to start appreciating or start sympathizing. And when we do it, we need to be specific. It is said that specific is terrific. So first of all, we need to notice, then we need to appreciate specifically, and then it has to be instant. Now, I think video and voice is becoming more personal. So let's say if I want to appreciate a staff member from my office, instead of writing a long email which takes me 10 minutes, I just record a 1 minute video appreciating the contribution by the person that particular day and send that video to the person. And another point which I generally tell people is, in remote setup, let's say there are people who work from Bangalore, from Mumbai, from Chennai, or maybe nearby towns. So if the leader is traveling to that particular city, the leader can invite people for a lunch or dinner and have a face-to-face chat, because nothing can beat the power of meeting with people face to face.
The more we are diving into things, I'm having a lot of aha moments.
Loving it. Loving it. Thank you so much.
As part of Muskurado, you are a rewards and recognition expert. You send out those gift items or personalized trophies across companies and founders. So, what so far in your experience has been the hardest part of selling appreciation as a product to hard nosed business leaders who look at ROI first?
Okay. Okay. That's fantastic. See, first of all, in Muskurado, we are a team of 16 people and not even one in sales. Over 6 years, I have not done any sales meetings with people. We don't really believe in selling stuff to people. We believe in helping them with their solutions of their challenges and problems. And we do it again and again. At times, I increase so much of overhead and extra work for my team just to walk the extra miles for the client. I'll tell you a latest example. Somebody uh, visited Muskurado, and that person wanted welcome kits for his team. He said that we want 100 welcome kits. So we were moving forward in the discussion. Towards the end, when things were almost finalized, I gave him a point. Let's customize all the welcome kits with the names of the people. So you want to give welcome kits to all the 50, 55 people in the company right now. We will customize everything with their name at no extra cost. We will not charge any extra money for this particular customization. And after that, remaining 40 to 45 kits, we can make those ready, keep with us in our warehouse. And whenever you hire anybody, just send us an email that we need to send these welcome kits to these particular addresses to these people. We will personalize the items, let's say pen, diary, bag, those things, and we'll do it all free of cost. Now, it's a lot of work personalizing every single thing. Let's say one welcome kit has 6 to 7 items. So 600 to 700 items need to be personalized with the names. Things might get spoiled, and of course, things will take time. It is definitely extra hassle for packing team, for admin team. But we did that. We walked the extra mile, and the client was awestruck at that time. He was totally, absolutely thrilled.
Wow.
I'll give you another example. There is an IT company in Gurgaon. For them also, you're doing welcome kits, and they were doing welcome kits unhappily, without any joy. And I asked them, why are you not excited about it? They said, sir, we scan thousands of resumes. We call maybe 100 people for interviews, 50 turn up. Out of those, let's say five say yes to join and only two join. So the experience is not really good. So we keep the welcome kit ready with the personalized letter. People don't turn up, we feel unhappy and we feel sad. So I told them that I asked them a question, when do you give the welcome kit? They said, when the person comes to the office to join the job. I said, let's change it. Don't give it when the person comes to join the job. Give it the day he says yes, immediately the same day, let's send a personalized welcome kit, with personalized bottle, bag, diary, everything.
Great idea.
And then see the magic. Their joining rate went up from 50% to 85% in just 1.5 to 2 months. Because let's say I, as an employee, say yes to an employer A, and then I have 2 months time to look for more, bigger opportunities, better opportunities, higher paying salary and all. But if I get a welcome kit from the company in, let's say, 2 days or 3 days after saying yes, and the welcome kit has things on which my name is there and company's logo is there. So my entire family gets to know that I'm joining this particular company. I also start emotionally connecting with the company. I start sipping coffee in that mug. I start making notes with that pen. I start writing in that diary. The bag is there on my desk. So emotionally, I get connected and I start that I belong to this company, even if the company is not paying salary to me as of now. And of course, my chances or my possibility of joining that company is much, much higher. So that consulting thing came free. So for me, I think it in terms of impact and in terms of adding value and in terms of being true and honest with my feedback, with my suggestions and consulting to the company. That's how we're doing well in this world without having any salespeople and sales team.
I'm so humbled by what I'm hearing. So you're doing the business, but the intent is to help others and then add value wherever, not thinking, okay, will this give me more money or will it get me more business? And no wonder you don't have a sales team. I think word of mouth and referrals, businesses will be getting so much value from what you already just mentioned. Given how the whole landscape of work, working in person, working remotely, and so many things which are happening across the world right now, in your view, what would a great place to work look like 5 years from now?
Today, the great place to work is still associated with the salary and the brand of the company. How much do I get paid? And what is the brand of the company? Is it a very small unknown company or a big MNC, giant, which is known by a lot of people? Even if I get a slightly lesser salary there, I feel happy that I'm associated with such a big brand. But in the times to come, the importance of these two parameters may reduce slightly, and the importance of true soft things, for example, the feeling of belongingness, the feeling of engagement, the feeling of being connected to the management, and how well does the company understand me and care for me, these will start becoming more important. So we should work more on belongingness, and that's where the Maslow's hierarchy also comes into picture. We know that in Maslow's hierarchy there are 5 different levels. There is a physiological level where I need to take care of my physical needs. Then there is a safety thing. Then there is a social thing. Then there is self-esteem, and then ultimately at the top there is self-actualization. So I think uh, even today people do not really work for physical. They work for safety needs, they work for social needs, and they work for self-esteem. But I think the people will start moving towards the higher side of the pyramid even more, and self-esteem, recognition, kind of appreciation, freedom, those things matter even more to people. Keeping people well paid is the bare minimum criteria. We can't really underpay and still expect a lot of loyalty and a lot of commitment. But after giving that market linked salary, fair salary, we need to take care of the emotional needs. We need to take care of the social needs of people. They need to be respected for working with good people. If we can focus on these, then of course, in future, we can keep our organizations great place to work organizations.
Companies who will be looking at holistically at the employees and their well-being, they will be the ones who will thrive in the coming years. And I think it has always been the case also. Maybe not in such evident way. There were times when only salary mattered, but now times are changing, especially with our Gen Z. Definitely, money cannot be the only criteria.
For them, a photo, a picture with the leader receiving something, some award, has a lot of value, lot of value. They will post it on their social media, Facebook, Instagram. They'll put it on WhatsApp status. They will put it on LinkedIn with a good story around it. So it really matters a lot for them already, but in future it will matter even more.
Great. Thank you, Mukesh. And we have a quick round of fire questions for you. Here we go.
Let's start it. Okay.
You are an avid reader of biographies. Which leader's story has most shaped your life?
If you ask me about biography, then that definitely is my experiments with truth. It is Mahatma Gandhi's biography, autobiography rather.
I am Lucknow or Toastmasters? Which taught you more about people?
See, I Am Lucknow gave me a good kickstart in my career. It gave me that confidence and reputation initially. But if I talk about hardcore skills, be it entrepreneurship skills, be it people skills, be it communication or leadership skills, Toastmasters definitely is ahead of any other organization in terms of adding value to my life.
The most muskurado moment of your life?
In 2017, 18, when we started, we struggled for 3, 4 years till 2021. After COVID, we started transforming ourselves and we started doing well. Initially, Toastmasters International trusted us to serve their community in India. But then, since then, 2020 September to today, number of countries we serve has gone up from 1 to 99. Number of districts we serve has gone from up from 4 to 35. So every single time they uplift their trust in me, it becomes my Muscorado moment. I feel that we are on the right track.
Great, wonderful. BIRA, which pillar do you find hardest to actually deliver consistently? This is for you personally.
Bonus, incentive, recognition, and appreciation. Easiest is bonus. Hardest is appreciation. Because bonus is transactional. You can do it once and you're done. But appreciation need to be weaved through in the culture. So appreciation is most difficult, but pays the highest dividends.
So, star performer or consistent performer? Who deserves more recognition as per you?
Consistency is the key of success in anything, be it personal or professional. So consistent performers need more recognition.
Appreciation or accountability? Which is harder to practice consistently?
Appreciation and accountability go hand in hand. First of all, we need to take the accountability of appreciating people, and then when we need to appreciate people, they need to make sure that they are accountable for whatever they are doing. So both the things go hand in hand. We cannot choose one of these two.
If you were not running Muskurado, what would you be doing?
Good question. I would have been doing maybe two things. One is either I would have been doing something in share market, or maybe I would have been doing public speaking, where I would have been adding a lot of value to people's life through sharing stories from my personal life and stories from across the world.
Perfect. One habit from Toastmasters you still use every day.
See, in Toastmasters, I learned to notice small contributions and celebrate them as big contributions.
Perfect. Great insights, Mukesh. Thank you so much, our guest today on Masterminds. While we heard so many interesting stories from you, here are a few takeaways that I had. I learned about two very interesting frameworks called the NNN, Notice, Name, and Nurture, and the BIRA framework, which is bonus, incentive, rewards, and appreciation. I also learned that how important it is to have the rewards and recognition done not only around just the strategic priorities or the achievements, but also equally important is the core values, because that's what shaped the culture of the organization, and how important again it is to have a top leader demonstrating to everybody in the organization how recognition and appreciation should be happening, and many more. This is
Absolutely.
just a short summary. So thank you so much.
To summarize, so
Thank you so much, Mukesh. It was a very insightful session. Thank you. And I'm sure it will add a lot of value to our audience also. Thank you so very much.